kind of,
Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. Today we've got a special episode with a Newcastle fan for the Newcastle preview for this Saturday at 5:30. Chris, how are you doing, mate?
Yes, mate, really good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. How are you feeling about the game? I mean, you must be quite buoyed after that Palace result.
Yeah, incredible result last night. Smashed them, scored 9 goals in 2 games now. Clean sheets. Yeah, but I never feel confident going to Villa Park, to be fair. So I think we're
Why?
going to...
Why? Gary, you got
Chris,
some head-to-heads.
Yeah, so
No.
I would feel a little bit more confident if I were you, because we've, in the last 5 Premier League games, you've won 4 and we've won 1. You've scored 15 goals and we've scored 5. You beat us 3-1 at Villa Park in January. And absolutely wiped the floor with us. And obviously the home leg as well, 3-0 in Boxing Day, which very dubious sending off for Duran. But
it was.
Yeah, I'm reading the stats. I mean, even our total head-to-head in the Premier League, we've played 51 times. Villa have won 12, Newcastle have won 23, and we've drew 16. So on a whole, I'm like, just give me a point now. I'll take the point now and move on to Man City.
I'll take a point.
You take a point. Well, let's just shake hands. Let's just shake hands and not bother playing. Like,
I'll take a point because we won last night. I'm more than happy to get a point. If we draw our away games and win our home games, I think we'll be fine. So I'm happy with that. And like Villa Park's a hard place to go. It's always the atmosphere that like I never go into a game with Villa Park being confident. I always think it's going to be a hard game. So I'll take a 1-1 or a 2-2. Yeah.
What's Newcastle fans thoughts at the moment? Like, what's the aim? Is the aim second, or is the aim just top 4?
Yeah, top 4. Yeah, top 4. Just need to qualify for Champions League, really. Yeah, obviously the win the cup's a bonus, but even at the start of the season, it was just we've got to get Champions League. We're not going to be able to keep Isak, Gnarly, Bruno, those kind of players if we haven't got Champions League. So we just need it's paramount we qualify. So
it's the same worry for us.
I watched most of that game last night. And bar the penalty miss, obviously, for Crystal Palace at 1-0.
That was a shocking penalty one as well, by the way.
It was terrible. Maybe that could have changed the game. You never know. But other than that, you totally blown away. And one of the things I would say is that the team are galvanised with Eddie Howe not being on the touchline. Like just looking at work rate, looking at all the stuff you want from a team that's pushing to go forward. Like it's about consistency and showing that at the right time of the season.
It's the Tyndall effect.
It's the Tyndall effect. Yeah. I was listening to Harvey Barnes was interviewed after the game, and he was basically saying it's just like muscle memory now for them. Like we play the same team pretty much every week. I think we played the same team since the final. So every player knows they're going to start. Apart from Gordon comes in and out when he's fit. But yeah, it's just like muscle memory the last few games. And like we go out, we know what we're going to do. We play the same way. We press high. Press really high up the pitch. You just know what you're going to get the last few games. And like last night was exactly the same. Didn't think it'd be 5-0, but I thought we'd win comfortably. The penalty could have changed the game, but yeah.
It's going to be fascinating again. It's going to be fascinating again. Like I said this about when we played Forest, and they played that kind of like they play their counter-attacking football, which seems to work against everyone. And Emery had a plan, and I just feel like again he's going to have a plan. We won't because, and to be fair, we generally we struggle against you guys, and we struggle against like Spurs and those kind of teams. But if we can beat your press, that's the key, right? I mean, and not gonna lie, we've just played the best team in probably the entire world at doing that, and we've managed to win 3-2. So if we can, me and Gaz are saying, if we can play like that every flipping week, we win the league.
Yeah, that's it. That's the problem with this as well. Is like the way we play, and for us to play well and win, it's reliant on that high press, that energy. Like you watch the game, and like the last 2 games, 2 goals we've scored. Joe Linton has won the ball high up in the pitch. He's intercepted the ball. He's smashed into the defenders, won the ball. Isak's then got onto the goal last night, scores. And then the game before that, Bruno got onto the ball, almost the same goal. And it's that high press. Like we hunt in packs and don't give the opposition any chance. But the problem is when you're tired, like we've had a game midweek now, when you're tired and fatigue sets in, we don't do that. We're not successful at doing that. And that's when we start to fall apart. So we are kind of reliant on that high energy. And because we're playing the same team at the moment, there was a worry, and this is the worry about the Villa game, that we could, if we go off the pace a little bit and we're a bit tired, that's when you could come into it. And that's why I think there's going to be goals.
I think we've got the same problem, Chris, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Like, my worry is, like, we've had it throughout the season where we've had Champions League out. We lost 8 games continuously after Champions League games. Now, Tuesday would have taken a massive toll because the energy levels that we produced on Tuesday, we've not seen all season, and that's been the biggest problem. So if we can replicate that, we stand a great chance. But he's going to have to make change in order to do that. We can't play the same team because they're going to be knackered. It is just one of those. So I'm interested to see. Well, he might play the same team. I don't know. Like, it's difficult to know with Emery. James, you said against Forest, we thought he's going to do this, and he did something completely different, like something we haven't even seen all season. So hopefully he's got a plan.
He did something so different that I decided to cash out on my bet early and I missed out on 500 quid. So I was pretty frustrated, if I'm honest.
I told you in Emery we trust, mate. I told you.
I know. And you know what?
I have cashed out and you lost 500 quid.
You know what? I have a rule usually with cashing out as well, because I'm like, I have this opinion that if I walked into the bookies and I placed a bet, I couldn't walk in halfway and go, "Can I get my money now, please?" And then just give me like half the money. That's not how it works. So I usually have this rule.
I'd like to see that, though, mate. That'd be a good discussion in the bookies.
Your online system says I can. But anyway, that was frustrating.
How much did you win then, mate, overall?
135 quid rather than 700 quid.
Oh, it's not bad, but yeah. What
it's not bad. I bought a gazebo.
What did you do?
Well, it was an Accra. So it was an Accra. And the big result was I think it was Arsenal drawing in the early kickoff, I think. And then I had a couple of other draws. To be fair, I also cashed out because I was a little worried about some of the other games. They were still going on. They were like the last 10 minutes. But no, I would have won £700. So I was a bit knocked off about that.
You live and learn, mate.
Yeah, I got a gazebo. Anyway.
Mate, I've got a gazebo. You could have borrowed it.
Never mind. I'll tell you what, though, John Linton scares their life out of me with that midfield. And I feel like I'm trying to think, guys, who we play to mitigate that. Is it just Kamara, Tielemans? Do we try and do what we did with PSG and actually we play Onana and Kamara and put Tielemans higher up? Does Asensio start? Maybe this is actually a good time to get onto our lineups potentially. So let me just bring it up. So, Gaz, here's your lineup. Take us through it.
Yeah, so this is what I went with. I changed slight changes from the other night to bring Mings in to cope with the pace of Isak. I think his movement off the ball. I don't trust Torres to deal with that efficiently. And then Garcia for cash, just for energy to bomb on. I think he could cause Newcastle some problems if we can beat that press. It's just defensively question marks around him. I've stuck with Tielemans and Kamara, mate, but I've not gone with Asensio and played McGinn because I think, I think those three can deal with that without Onana.
McGinn's going to be knackered, though, mate. He puts such
I think he may well play Onana, but we'll have to wait and see. And then I've gone, no Asensio, but I think Rodgers needs a rest. Because I watched him on Tuesday towards the end of that game. He should have come off instead of Rashford. He was absolutely blowing out of his backside. So I've gone with our mate Donny. Do you know what I mean? Like bring Donny on. And I think I wanted to go with Watkins, mate. But when he came on Tuesday, I didn't see anything. Do you know what I mean? I just thought, I think his head's gone, maybe. And I think Ramsey will offer that defensive cover for Digne, and then hopefully Rashford can put in a performance like he did against Paris, and we might just stand to get some joy if we can beat that initial press that we've just talked about.
Yeah, these next these 4 days since that game. So Newcastle on Saturday and then Man City on Tuesday are absolutely massive. So again, it's another thing where we've got to probably try and manage the minutes a bit. You're basically playing PSG, Newcastle, and City in a week.
It's a big week, isn't it?
It's a big week.
Absolutely massive. It's huge for us, and like I think you're right. I can't personally. I can't see him playing McGinn. I think he ran himself into the ground across those 2 games. He's going to be exhausted.
I think for me, but like Chris, as you said there, I'm a bit old-fashioned, and I think when you're trying to build momentum in a team and trying to get the best chemistry, sticking with more or less the same team is probably the best way to go. And we haven't really done that. So I'm still, although we've improved in the last kind of 7 or 8 games. Like, we have been massively inconsistent this year, and it shows with you guys with Newcastle. Look how consistent you've been. Like, it's worked, hasn't it? You've won a trophy. You're pushing, you're into third. Like, the confidence has got to be well up there. Like you say, it just becomes like muscle memory. You just know everyone knows what their job is. And okay, you might get unstuck in a couple of games, and we might trip you up. But ultimately, you'll go into the next fixture, and you'll probably get a positive result. So it's the same with Paris. With Paris, they play the way they play. Like, people picked them apart, saying, "Oh, look how much space they're leaving between defence and midfield." But that's how they play. They go at you, and they're devastatingly clinical. So that's what.
I think the only maybe I reckon. I worry a little about Mings with a high press. I know with Isak's pace, I know what you're saying. Mings' recovery pace is better than Torres.
Yeah.
But just with Torres, I think that ability to just break the lines a little bit is probably more beneficial in this game if they are going to play a high press. Also, I would say Konsa is going to be absolutely fucked after that game against I mean, the guy was literally pressing their left back at like 35 minutes. We were literally sat there. He was here. I was like, what the fuck is Ezri Konsa doing here? Like, this makes no sense. So I wouldn't be surprised if he puts Disasi in. Instead of Konsa.
Disasi?
Disasi.
Disasi? That's interesting.
I won't be surprised. And then, McGinn, I wonder again if he might play Asensio. But I do worry about Joel Linton's like power in that midfield. Like, it's going to be so hard to stop him.
Mate, Joe Linton's an absolute animal. He's just an absolute beast of a human. Like, he's just
he just went on a whole. He just went on a whole other level, right? When you put him into the midfield, because you used to play him as striker, right, or was it a winger?
Yeah. He signed as a striker from Hoffenheim, I think, and he was shocking. To be fair, he always had he was always willing and playing, but he was, in terms of his movement up the ball, like he doesn't hold the ball up particularly well. Like, he was just Stevie Bruce, who we love, of course, like played him as a striker, and it just wasn't working. And he was at the point where it was going to be like, we need to sell this guy. He's like 35 million, I think it was, and he's been shocking. And then Howe came in, brought him back into midfield, and since then he's just changed his game completely. He just looked so good. Yeah, he's to be honest, he's the least talented of our 3 midfield actually, but he's just got the energy. He's as you said, Gary, he's a beast. He just closes people down. He gets close to them. He's just an absolute beast. So we do need that kind of energy. We do lose it when he goes out the team, because we bring in someone like Willock who hasn't got the same level of energy and intensity. So you do miss that. I
think Eddie Howe deserves massive credit, mate, for doing that, because like the transformation in Joel Linton, like you say, just his presence on the pitch, and you don't always need the best technical gifted players. You just need someone who's going to do the doggy dirty work and do it relentlessly, and it pays dividends, which is proving in the season that you're having.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we'll get onto your predicted lineup in a sec, but who usually play? Because Gordon plays on your left, but he's not always a starter, is he?
He is if he's fit, to be fair, but he's obviously he got sent off. He got suspended for the cup final, and then since then he went on England duty, and he was injured in England duty, so he hasn't played since before the cup final. But usually he would be a starter.
Who's on your left now?
Chris, can I ask you a question? I read in the media that because obviously Anthony Gordon all his family are massive Liverpool fans, aren't they? So there's a theory that he got himself sent off on purpose so he didn't have to play against Liverpool. Is that true? That can't be true, surely.
No, I don't think so. I think that was like people putting 2 together and making 5. But because he scored for us in both legs of the semi-final against Arsenal, and he played really, really well. So basically got us to the final, and he was in really good form then. And then obviously he then got sent off. against Brighton, I think it was, when he did that ridiculous shove.
Yeah, I think everyone was just questioning that, weren't they? Because it was such a ridiculous send-off. Like,
that
what
was
are you
so
doing?
stupid. Yeah, he just literally absolutely shoved. I can't remember if it was against Brighton now.
Yeah, it was in the FA Cup, wasn't it? It was in the FA Cup.
Yeah, gutting that game was. But yeah, it was ridiculous. And yeah, since then he hasn't played. But yeah, I don't think that's true. I think that was just a bit of a tale, media tale.
Classic rumours doing the rounds.
Yeah.
So let's get on to your lineup here, Chris. So if you want to take us through it, mate.
Yeah, to be honest, this is the same lineup we've played for the last 5 games now. Piper back in. Although we had a shocking game last night, he was for the penalty. He came out and clobbered that defender for no reason at all. But he's our number one. We probably need to replace, to be honest with you, replace him in the summer. Maybe upgrade to another keeper, but he's our number one for now. Trippier's been brilliant right back, coming back into the team. He's been out of the team for a bit, but he's come back in. Shah and Byrne, centre backs, doing really well. Livermento's now playing left. He looks really good at left, actually. He's a right back predominantly, but he's coming left back at the moment. He's looking really good left back. Sort of cuts in quite nicely on the left. We actually play 4-3-3, so this is slightly different. But yeah, Bruno, Tonali, Joelinton in the midfield. And then, like I said, Joelinton's just an absolute beast. Tonali's got a bit more craft to him. And obviously playing Bruno a bit further forward. It's got a nice kind of pivot, that 3. And then, Isak and Murphy up top. So we haven't really got a massive squad, to be honest with you. If we lost one of those kind of core sort of 5 players at the top, we'd be struggling a little bit. To your point, Gary, about we've been quite lucky with injuries this season. We managed to play the same team pretty much straight through, and I think if we lost a couple of players, I think you would see the rhythm of the team affected by that. But such word so far, we've had pretty good injury record, so we've managed to play this team pretty much through the season.
Again, man, that's got to go credit to your backroom staff. Do you know what I mean? Because it shows that the conditioning and the training is good and it works. Do you know what I mean? Often teams have massive problems because that's not in place. And so whatever Eddie Howe and his team are doing, it's not a fluke where people don't pick up injuries. It's not, to a certain degree. I think you have to get lucky because you can get horror tackles and whatnot. So, but bar that, if you took in just general maintenance of the team and keeping them fresh, it's down to what they're doing behind the scenes. So I think you could, again, Eddie Howe. I feel like I'm blowing smoke up his backside here, but it's seriously impressive what he's done.
Yeah, but to be fair, we actually brought in in the summer because we had so many injuries last season after the Champions League season, and we had at one point we had about 10 players out. So we brought in the summer a conditioning coach, a director of conditioning. I think he's called Steve Bunce or something. I can't remember his name. He's come in the background and he's just overseeing kind of players' workload, training. He's working quite close with Howard and Tyndall and the coaching staff. And Howe's spoken quite well of him, in press conferences and stuff like that. So his influence has been really, 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 really impressive and important. So without knowing kind of what he actually does day to day, but I think you're probably seeing the fruits of that in terms of the injuries we've had this season, and the lack of injuries, and the team have been playing, because it's been really good.
I suppose the difference this season, the Europe football, right?
Of course.
You obviously, I mean, we'll get on to your fantastic cup win in a sec, but the lack of that intensity of 2 games a week, week on week, is probably been quite helpful, and that's why you've been able to manage it with a smaller squad as well.
100%.
I'm looking at this, Gaz, though, actually, and I'm wondering whether he might play McGinn on the right wing to try and protect Garcia a little bit against Barnes.
I mean, yes, that could happen. I think it negates what McGinn can do, but that could happen. I think we've gone to the days now, and should be after Tuesday's game, mate, that we don't necessarily feel what Newcastle are going to do and try and focus on what we can do going forward, because it's the only way we're going to beat them. Because we have to beat that pressing. We're constantly just paranoid about getting back. We're going to, we took risks against Paris. We had to, because it was gung-ho. The game was going to be over anyway, and it paid off. Now, obviously, if we don't do that well, Newcastle will pick us off as well. Like I say, I watched that first half yesterday with you guys, Chris, and time again, you just played through Crystal Palace, they weren't even there through the lines. Isak's movement's brilliant. Your Trippier overlapping, you've just and then down the left hand side, Harvey Barnes. I've always been an admirer of Harvey Barnes. I think he's a fabulous footballer. and he offers so much. So yeah, you've got a big threat, and there's no doubt that we've got to be wary of it. But we've got a great record at home this year. Like, it's the one thing that has been consistent.
We're unbeaten in the league, I think, since August.
Yeah.
Which was Arsenal, and arguably we should have won that. So what game? What game? Arguably we should have won that game. And the we've only lost in general. Obviously, was Palace in the cup. Like we haven't actually lost because obviously we've beaten PSG at home as well. So at home we are a force to be reckoned with at the moment. But in terms of I can't remember what the hell I was going to say. But in terms of your cup run and your cup win, how did that feel? I remember when I was speaking to you and you were like, it was kind of surreal.
Yeah, it was. I'm just going back to what you said about that, your home form. That's again why I'm like dubious about, and I take a draw, because I think Newcastle and Villa are quite similar teams, and we rely on that home form and that energy in the crowd. So I haven't our home form's been really, really good this season. That's why
the thing is with that, I mean, Gary will be back in a sec.
Apologies about that.
In time. But I was literally about to say
technical issues.
I was going to say the thing is with Villa Park is, as we saw against PSG, it can be this absolutely amazing rocking place.
Yeah,
but it can also be it can be very quiet and it can get very edgy quite quickly. So if you guys kind of come out at us and you're pressing us and you're just high energy football and we're getting dispossessed in the defense, the crowd's gonna turn and it's gonna get that home advantage doesn't become a thing anymore.
That's what we need to do. Start good. Start and try and get your crowd.
You need to come out. You need to come out at us and try and impose very quickly. I was just thinking, I was thinking it's crazy that you've got Harvey Barnes and Gordon as your left winger option. It's like absolutely.
We signed them both in the same window, which was really weird.
I remember. I was like, what the? I was like, how are you going to manage that?
Yeah, we've been crying out for a right back for like 5 years. I'm sorry, a right winger. We really, really need a right winger. Obviously, we were looking at Diaby when you signed him. And before that, we needed a right winger. And we signed 2 left wingers in the same window. And to be honest, Harvey Barnes doesn't play on the right. He only plays left. Gordon can play both. But we don't put them together. It's one or the other. And Gordon's
Harvey
out.
Barnes has spent a lot of time out injured, hasn't he? Because you bought him from Leicester, and so I think Gordon was starting because Barnes was injured. But now you've got them both fit. It's a dilemma, because I think Gordon gets pretty upset about not starting, doesn't he? He's done his out the pram a couple of times with he's But
to be honest,
he's a great player.
We'll have him. I'll have him.
We'll take him.
We'll take him off your hands if you want. If Rashford ends up going back to Man U, we'll have him. Anyway, right, on to our predictions. So I don't know if you've got
predictions. Here we go.
You can use your fingers if you don't have a piece of paper. I'm gonna write it down. What am I going for? Jesus Christ, I do not know. I'm gonna be positive. I could eat these words. Okay, right. Well, Gaz, Gaz, you go first.
Okay, here it comes. Don't know if you can see that.
Oh, mate, I was gonna go for that.
That's mine. You've heard it here first.
I've got more positive, mate.
2-1. Okay.
I'm going for the win. Chris, what have you got?
Yeah.
Oh, Desmond. He's gone for the Desmond.
As you mentioned at the start, I think there will be goals in this game. 100% will do.
Definitely will. Yeah.
And I just thought in my head, I'll take a point and then go and smash Man City because they're crap at the moment. I think out of the 2, I think that's our best hope. So a 4-goal thriller would be wonderful. I don't know if my nerves will take it after Tuesday.
Oh God, I'm still broken. Like honestly, I'm just like exhausted.
Well, I've only just got my voice back, so
were you at the game, both of you?
Yeah.
It looked insane. The atmosphere looked insane. Even the flags as well. The flags, honestly,
the atmosphere was the atmosphere was it was the best atmosphere I've ever heard.
I would say in 40 years of going to Villa Park, that's the best game of football I've been to in all the games I've seen at Villa Park. And I've seen some great nights, but and it's weird because we didn't go through, but it felt like one of those great nights at Villa Park, and hopefully, I mean, in my heart, I want it to be that turning point where we can hit those levels consistently. Because if we can play like we did against Paris consistently, that's where we need to be. That we beat anyone on our day. We've got players that can hurt anybody. It's just that we've got this inability this season, and I think this is because we don't keep a consistent back four. We leak goals. We have done. Our goal difference is terrible. Like it's no coincidence. That's got to dry up in the next season when we come back. Like we've got to sort that out. Whether we kind of either we sign someone like Disassi full time or we get another centre half in, but we have a consistent, right back, left back. Because I think for me, out of your whole team, you can change the rest of it because it's further up the field you can lose the ball, but your defence, has to be solid.
We have sorted that over the last, 4 or 5 weeks. We've had, I think, I can't remember how many clean sheets we've had now, but I remember at one point it was like 4 out of 5 clean sheets or something. We have actually solidified at the
Great
back.
word, mate. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. We've actually managed to make it get a bit more solid at the back. Yeah, Chris, we didn't manage to talk about the League Cup win. So what was it? What was it? 70? How long was it since your last cup win?
I think 70 years, 70 odd years. Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Crazy.
That's worse than ours.
How did that feel? Did you manage to get up to the tune for the victory parade?
No, I didn't. I went to Covent Garden. That was where all the Newcastle fans were kind of. Yeah, it was just a takeover. Like last time we did it, it was in Trafalgar Square, but there was something happening already that was booked out. So it was basically Covent Garden. And if you look at the scenes on YouTube, like the whole of the area was taken over by Newcastle fans, just like swarming with black and white. It was insane. So I went up on Saturday just to get in the atmosphere, and it was insane. It was just such a good atmosphere. Like to be honest, I went into it thinking we weren't going to win. I was pretty sure we were going to lose. Like our bogey team is Liverpool and has been for 20, 30 years. Like we don't beat Liverpool. We just never ever beat them. So I was going in thinking it's a free hit, really. It's a free hit. Liverpool probably win. Let's just go and see what we can do. I was more nervous about when we got to the final 2 years ago against Man U because I thought we actually could beat Man U because they were quite bang average. And I was like, this is a really good chance to actually win. But this year, I just didn't think we were going to win at all. So I kind of went in almost not feeling too nervous about it. And to be honest, I didn't actually think we were going to win until the last 10 minutes. I was like, we actually could do this. Like, there's 10 minutes to go, and we were battering Liverpool, and they weren't looking like they were going to score. Obviously, they did score last few minutes. But yeah, it kind of hit me the last 10 minutes. I was like, fuck, we could actually do this. Like, I was sort of gearing up, getting ready for the emotion because I was holding it all in. Like, and obviously I was like, they're going to score because they always score against us. They always get like a late one, and we played them earlier in the season, and I think it was a 3-3 game, and we were 3-1 up, and they came back and scored 2. So that's always the way it goes with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just insane, mate. Absolutely insane. Once that final whistle went, just pure elation. I've heard people say like that the first one is the best, and like even if we would go on to win the Champions League or the league in the future, like, it won't feel the same. And I think I get what they mean, because it's just like, it's so surreal when you've waited this long to win anything, like to see the black and white ribbons on the cup, to see the players that you've watched for the last 5 years actually holding a trophy. Like, you guys can imagine what it would be like if you guys win something as well. It's a similar situation. Like it would just be so surreal.
Unfortunately, it was only the Coca-Cola Cup, but it's fine. But we hopefully imagine the scenes imagine a season where Newcastle are League Cup winners and Villa are FA Cup winners. Like, that's just amazing.
Mate, it would be a big FU to all that top six nonsense that needs to be broken up, right? Because I was so pleased that you guys won it. Like, I just felt you for it. And I've got a bit of a soft spot for Newcastle. I went there on my stag do, and I just love the city, love the people. I think they're fabulous. Do you know what I mean? It's such a well-supported club and always has been. So to see Arne Slot literally crying into his milk or whatever, like, it was just was brilliant. Because let's face it, you're just clap in disguise, aren't you? You've taken on a team that was already established. I hope Liverpool get relegated next year, like that. Obviously, it won't happen, but yeah, it was just I felt that euphoria, and it was annoying because it was during the media. I think it was what's his face on TalkSport, O'Hara, who criticised you for having an open top.
Yeah.
And I was like, mate, you're a Spurs player,
Honestly,
fan who's won nothing. Just get back in your hole and pipe it down. Like,
Yeah.
first trophy in 70 years. Absolutely. Get like the scenes were unreal. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's like, it was obviously it was only the League Cup, but it's like you have to forget about that. It's the first time in 70 years. You know, there's literally generations of families there. They're literally like, have never seen.
There's loads of teams that haven't won it. There's loads of teams that haven't won it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, imagine if that is the catalyst for you guys to go on and kind of do something even better next year. You know, potentially challenge for the title, potentially challenge for Champions League. Like it's doable because you've got a good core of players. If you can strengthen that, you know, I'd much rather see Newcastle do that because they've had to conform to the PSR rules compared to watching Chelsea, Man City get away with blue murder every week. You know, just expect to be there. So I hope both of us can do that. I hope that's for the Villa as well. Like Simon Jordan was talking about it on TalkSport yesterday, that the PSR is crippling teams like Villa and Newcastle because we've got the money, we've got the owners, but they're not allowing us to kind of like do what Man City and Chelsea ultimately have come in and spend what they want.
It's the way it's enforced. It's just like and the loopholes within the rules and stuff. It's just not at all.
Nonsense.
And it doesn't do the job it's meant to do. It doesn't do the job it's meant to do because the whole point was that it was meant to try and stop clubs going into liquidation. And then what happens is clubs overspend. So what do? They dock them points. Which what happens with that? They get relegated, which means they get less money and end up fucking going into liquidation. It's absolutely it's bollocks. It's absolute bollocks. Anyway, I think that's all we've got time for here. But thank you, Chris, so much for joining us.
Yes, Chris, thank you so much. I really enjoyed that, mate. It was a good chat.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Thank you very much.
You're going the game, aren't you?
Yep. I'm sorry. Yep. Go to game 2 or
sat in the home fans though.
Don't promote that, mate.
I said you're going to be sat in the home fans though.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm in the whole end. Yeah, right at the top of the whole end. Yeah,
sit on those hands, mate. Don't make a sound.
Yeah.
We'll just see a body come flying out the top. And I'm
like, there's Chris.
Hi, Chris.
There we go.
Anyway, brilliant. Thanks so much for coming. As always, guys, if you're not always subscribed, please do subscribe. Pop your little ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling notification bell on.
Help us grow the channel, guys. Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, hit the like. Comment down below. What do you think? Lineups. What do you think the score's going to be? Newcastle fans, I know you'll be on here. You'll be giving us all kinds of shit, loads of sticks, because there is a little bit.
We love it. We want the debate.
Well, we didn't manage to talk about it, but there is a little bit of fire in us, I still think, between Newcastle Villa fans when Newcastle got relegated and we sent them down.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah, we ain't got time. But
no.
Anyway,
that's another episode.
Yeah, that's another episode. We'll get him on next season for the. Anyway, cheers everyone. Gary, sing us out, mate.
Here we go. Every week we follow the boys in claret and blue. I lied, my voice still hasn't come back.
Your voice is still Mason. Anyway, that's right. See ya.